Good evening, Bahamas. Coming up tonight in our news.
Disney Cruise Line executives reveal their next step for that cruise port in Eleuthera.
The leader of the opposition demanding answers following the signing of a HOA.
Lucayan's managerial union is in court over that DSAP exercise.
Our news is brought to you by Alive.
Welcome to our news and thanks for joining us. I'm Jared Higgs, topping news tonight nearly 5 months after approving a controversial proposal by Disney Cruise Line for the development of a cruise port in South Eleuthera. Prime Minister Dr. Hubert Minnis announced on Saturday that a heads of agreement has been signed. Members of the media were not present for the signing and were notified afterwards. Officials say construction will not begin until the environmental impact assessment and environmental management plan are reviewed and approved.
The heads of agreement has been signed and Disney will be commencing their project very, very, very soon.
Minnis made the announcement as he addressed South Eleuthera residents at a town hall meeting in Tarpon Bay on Saturday. The signing took place at Cabinet Office last week. However, media was not invited to cover it. The Office of the Prime Minister said in a statement, the development has a projected investment of between $250 and $400 million, and Disney has completed acquisition of the property from the private seller.
With this project, there will be an increase in cruise calls to Nassau. So Nassau will not be affected.
The agreement mandates that a minimum of 120 Bahamians will be employed directly during the construction of the project, with Disney committing to an 80-20 ratio of Bahamian construction workers to foreign staff. The statement also notes that Disney will create as many as 150 permanent jobs with health benefits and added space must be provided for Bahamian vendors on the property for the sale of authentic, high-quality Bahamian retail goods, services, souvenirs, arts and crafts, Bahamian t-shirts, and other merchandise. Disney must also give priority to Bahamian owners and operators to provide port adventures for DCL guests while its ships are in port and will seek to use Bahamian entertainers.
The project will be environmentally friendly and there will be no damage to our environment.
Disney's proposal stirred up controversy before it was approved on October 19, 2018. Environmentalists, including Bahamas National Trust Executive Director Eric Carey and Re-Earth co-founder Sam Duncombe, called for Disney's plans to be discarded in exchange for a more eco-friendly solution. They insisted that the project would devastate the local environment and deprive locals of access to beaches and public spaces. The BNT and One Eleuthera Foundation circulated a Save Lighthouse Point petition which sought to convince government to approve an alternative proposal that would turn the 700-acre property into a national park. Government also says that Disney has committed to allowing citizens and residents access to the property for non-commercial purposes. Meanwhile, residents of South Eleuthera overwhelmingly supported the project, with many pointing to the need for more jobs in their community. And as Minnis addressed those residents on Saturday, he revealed that he encouraged Disney to prioritize South Eleuthera when drafting the heads of agreement.
And during that discussion, putting together the heads of agreement, there were many, what was shocking to me, is individuals were requesting benefits and things for Nassau. And when I saw it, I said, you have to be crazy. I said, Disney, don't listen to them. This is an Eleuthera project. This is not
With the Minnis administration adamant that an EIA must be completed before any work begins in Eleuthera, top Disney executives confirmed today that groundwork for that environmental impact assessment has already begun. Jasmine Brown reports.
In a telephone interview, Vice President of Public Affairs and Communications at Disney Cruise Line, Kim Prunty, says the U.S.-based company has been focused on the field work necessary for completing a comprehensive environmental impact assessment and management plan.
We are working in close consultation with the Events Commission to complete a thorough environmental impact assessment and mitigation plan. Given the size of the property, this is a several-month process.
The government said in a statement released on Sunday that construction of the project will not begin until the EIA and Environmental Management Plan are reviewed and approved. Prunty says a completed EIA will likely take months and data will be compiled in a report. The next step for Disney, she says, will be public consultation.
The data from the fieldwork is being analyzed and it will be compiled into a report in the coming months. And then the process will include public consultation once a draft is available.
Meantime, in a statement released by Disney Cruise Lines today, President Jeff Valle said, "We are pleased to have finalized an agreement with the government of the Bahamas that will enable us to create new and sustainable economic opportunities for the people of Eleuthera while celebrating the natural beauty and culture of this special place with our guests." Prunty says Disney has also spent the last few months exploring Eleuthera's unique sites and culture and continuing to build relationships with businesses on that island.
We have toured potential destinations for port adventures, and we've started to build relationships with local businesses that have expressed an interest in doing business with us.
Reporting for our News, I'm Jasmine Brown.
The Progressive Liberal Party slammed the Disney deal as secret and questioned why a government that rode to office on a pledge of transparency signed the controversial heads of agreement with Disney behind closed doors with no news cameras or outsiders. The PLP says it comes hard on the heels of the fake and phony O-Band deal, which was also signed in secret before a ceremonial signing was held. Giorgio Bain reports.
Leader of the opposition, Philip Davis, is demanding answers following the signing of the heads of agreement for the development at Lighthouse Point. According to Davis, we must know how Bahamians will benefit from the deal. Davis said minutes sat in secret and watched the signing of the controversial Disney deal on March 7th with no cameras and no outsiders, just government's minders and mouthpieces. He questioned why the public and the media had to find out about the heads of agreement signing with Disney through a press release, considering the F&M government's campaign pledge of transparency and accountability.
This government of supposed transparency and openness has once again failed the test of openness and transparency and flubbed the example of open government. Hard on the heels of the fake and phony O-Band deal, the Prime Minister sat in secret and signed the Disney deal last Thursday.
According to Davis, the PLP would have never gotten away with another secret heads of agreement signing and would have never tried to. He said the secrecy surrounding the deal leads to several questions.
What are the details of this arrangement? Does it include an environmental impact study? How will the Bahamians and Eleuthera in particular benefit? Will the Lighthouse Point be protected from ruin by poor developmental practices? We need to know these things. Inquiring minds want to know why the secrecy and what is there to hide.
Davis said the opposition will demand that the HOA be tabled in the next sitting of the House of Assembly. He said in no way is the Progressive Liberal Party trying to block any financial gain for South Eleuthera, but the government must go about it the right way.
Eleuthera, by all stretch of the imagination, like most of the family islands, is in dire need of some economic stimulus, some economic injection. And so any project, initiative that lends to that injection, we support, and we will lend whatever we have at our disposal to see it through to its successes.
Davis questioned what is there to hide and urged the Prime Minister to come clean. Reporting for our News, I'm Giorgio Bain.
Monsignor Preston Moss has died at age 79. He passed away at his home this afternoon following a long battle with stomach cancer. Monsignor Moss served the Catholic Archdiocese for over 50 years, even past his retirement. Head of the Catholic Archdiocese of the Bahamas, Reverend Patrick Pinder, told Our News he had the opportunity to visit the Monsignor just before his passing. He described the Monsignor as an exquisite pastor who represented so much for the Archdiocese. In a statement, Progressive Liberal Party Chairman Fred Mitchell said his life was a stellar example of how you use whatever God gave you to the best of your ability. While line staff at the Grand Lucayan Hotel received their voluntary separation packages over a month ago, The managerial union is still petitioning for its members. Well, today, the managerial union met with Grand Lucayan's board before the Industrial Tribunal in Grand Bahama and told Our News that when they return to court next week, they hope the matter will finally be resolved. Jillian Gray tells us more.
The Bahamas Hotel Managerial Association was in court today, still lobbying for a better deal for those 91 Grand Lucayan resort managers who have applied for voluntary separation packages. Trade Union Congress President Obi Ferguson said his members are entitled to more than what's being offered, and they're in court to pressure Lucayan Renewal Holdings to adhere to what's outlined in the industrial agreement.
So in effect, we're here today to require the corporation to pay the managerial workers consistent with the agreement that was reached by the chairman.
Ferguson said they are asking for $5 million, and the $3.1 million offered is unacceptable. The union said officials have proposed a payout ceiling of 12 years, which Ferguson called ridiculous because some workers have been with the resort for nearly 21 years. As a result, he said those managers would lose nearly half of what they're owed. He added that when they first negotiated the terms, Chairman Michael Scott agreed to the union's offer. But when they saw the package, that was a different story.
He said there was no need to come here because he accepted the terms. But when we got the offer was not acceptable.
Ferguson said union leaders tried to meet with Minister of Tourism Dionisio de Aguilar this morning, but were unable to. One ray of hope, he says, is the tribunal ordered Lucayan Renewal Holdings to give the union the breakdown of how it arrived at the $3.1 million figure.
So what you can see, there is no formula attached to it.
Now, the union is set to return to court on March 20th. Ferguson said he hopes that after that hearing, the matter will finally be resolved. Reporting for Our News, I'm Jillian Gray.
Family Islanders who built their homes on leased Crown land will have that land granted to them. During a recent trip to Mangrove Key Andros, Prime Minister Minnis told residents that a land audit was ordered because some land appeared to be leased to multiple people. He says that audit is taking longer than planned, and many families and business owners were promised the land that they have built on.
What we're going to do, a lot of people in the family islands would have had homes, family islands, built businesses, and they're leasing. Over the next few weeks, we want you to call in so we know who you are, and we are prepared to grant you that land, give you the land, free title, so that you can take that land, go to the bank, you want it, you can borrow money, expand your business, because the government no longer leasing the land, it's your land.
Minnis added that land lessees on other family islands such as Auckland's will be included in the initiative. At another town hall meeting in Nicholstown, North Andros, Minnis advised residents who live on land originally purposed for the Bahamas Agricultural Research and Training Development Project that they will also be given that land. Bartad was a family farming project kicked off in 1973 by the United States Agency for International Development. The project failed, leaving farmers with large plots of land that they did not own until now.
Now, those on Bartad, when we campaigned, we made a promise that we would regularize the land for those individuals who have been occupying land by Bartad for a very long time. I can say to you tonight that Cabinet has approved the selling of the land to you. Or I shouldn't say selling, I should say grants. I shouldn't say selling, grants. We have agreed that we will give you the land that was promised to you that you live on.
Still to come on Our News. A Life for Key school student is the new spelling bee champ. Plus, how Global Port Holdings is helping taxi drivers. Stay tuned.